Launching anything on social media can be both extremely exciting and daunting. In such a competitive space, it is crucial that your social media campaigns really pack a punch and cut through the noise rather than fading into the background. In this video, we're gonna walk through the ultimate checklist that you need to keep in mind when putting together your social media campaigns. And we get it, there's a lot to cover here and it's all very, very important. So we've linked a comprehensive blog post that you can read at your own pace, and that's linked down below in the description box of this video. Also, feel free to rewatch any section of this video to help you better understand, and the entire video is timestamped for your convenience. So first of all, let's answer a very pressing question. What is a social media campaign? A campaign can vary from a product launch to a competition announcement to marketing promotions around a specific event or service. And here's a super quick summary. A campaign, in short, is designed around promoting a specific product, service, or event to generate traffic, sales, signups, or any other metric you set as your key goal. And social media campaigns in particular are notoriously successful for driving insane amounts of traffic. And this is largely because there are so many engaged users using social media every single day, making a huge opportunity for you as the marketer to reach a mass audience with the right campaign. More and more campaigns have become less traditional and instead are more playful and punchy as competition increases as a way to stand out. And standing out is exactly what we're gonna help you do through this video. So step number one for your campaign is to outline your goals and resources. The very first thing that you should do when planning your social media campaign is to understand what you have to work with and what your goals are. And it's really important to do this before developing a creative vision because you don't want to fall in love with an idea that you just can't execute on. So here are some questions to ask yourself to help with this process. What channels are you creating this campaign for? What is your intention or goal? Are you trying to drive traffic and awareness, or is this campaign purely sales focused? Here are some example KPIs that you may want to include in your campaign: traffic, engagement rate, conversions, product button taps or clicks, impressions, views, reach, or goal completions. These are some of the core numbers that you want to keep in mind when you're setting your goals for your campaign. And understanding where you're really focusing in terms of goals will also help with creative direction. And here's a few more questions that you should definitely ask yourself to get the best approach possible. How long will this campaign last? Is this an always-on activation, or will it last a few weeks to a month? What audience are you trying to reach? Is it your existing dedicated fans, or are you trying to cast a wide net to reach new people? Is this campaign going to purely sit on organic social channels, or do you have a pot of budget you can use for paid social? And lastly, will you be leveraging influencer marketing as part of this campaign? These are some of the core questions that you need to answer when putting your campaign together. We have linked a blog post down below that includes a social media campaign planner template to help you put this all together. Step number two in the process is to analyze your competition. Now, we know you probably want to get brainstorming for your campaign ASAP, but before you do that, there are some things you should do. To increase the chances of you being successful with your campaign, you do want to do a bit of research and snooping around. Look at past campaigns that were successful for brands either in your industry or outside of it, and look for factors that were included that led to that success. First, do a bit of an audit. Take a look at accounts that you would benchmark yourself against within your niche and explore their recent campaigns. Do a deep dive and understand what platforms they leveraged, what posts had higher engagement rates, how long their campaign ran for, and whether they use any specific marketing tactics that you could implement into your campaign as well. So to bring this to life, let's get some inspiration by looking at some previous examples that were wildly successful, and then break down why they worked so well. So case study number one is Maybelline Sky High Mascara. One of the most successful social media campaigns in the e-commerce product space was the launch of the Maybelline Sky High Mascara, which took TikTok by storm. The mascara sold out 4 times after going viral on TikTok and achieved 240 plus million views after the first video was published. The reason this campaign was so successful was its guerrilla marketing style, which was extremely authentic, reliable, organic, and results focused. The campaign started with a video reaction to the mascara from someone at home, providing a genuine reaction that gave credibility to the product right away. Whilst the video was technically an ad, it felt extremely natural, which allowed other users to trust the results and try it for themselves. Users started creating reaction videos with the original content, trying the mascara on for themselves, which started a sort of knock-on effect, allowing the concept and the brand to be pushed farther and farther every time that it was knocked on. So what can you take away from this specific example? Leveraging mass influencers or consumers at the same time makes your product or service hard to avoid, as it is literally everywhere. To go viral, however, doesn't necessarily mean you need a huge budget. Just one authentic, organic, and results-based piece of content can propel your product or service to virality. And it's something that you can even create for yourself that can snowball, just like this example right here. Case study number two is Spotify Wrapped. And I'm sure you've seen these across everybody's stories, but why was it so successful? Well, speaking of shareability, Spotify Wrapped has been one of the most successful social media campaigns of all time. And it continues to be every single year. At the end of each year, Spotify provides listeners with their year wrapped, including the songs and artists you listen to the most, as well as the anthem to your year. Spotify leverages influencers to get the word out when their campaign launches, encouraging partners to share their results on their Instagram stories. Once their followers see that Spotify Wrapped is back, they want to share their own playlists and results, causing the word to spread quickly. So through a bit of creativity and a viral feature, they allowed users to be their own advertisement, which all came for free, which allowed for a truly brilliant campaign that works year over year. And it all came from thinking ahead in terms of what people love to share on their own. Another example of a brilliant campaign is Apple's Shot on an iPhone. The brand encouraged user-generated content to show the quality of what can be shot on an iPhone in an always-on marketing campaign. The brand made sure to make the hashtag shot on an iPhone front and center in their bio after seeing millions of content created into that hashtag. And those are just a few examples of the most successful social media campaigns. If you want to see some more, check out the blog post down below. Step number 3 is to brainstorm your ideas. Yes, so you can finally get those creative juices flowing with what I know you've been waiting for, brainstorming sessions. Once you've figured out your resources, competitor examples, and goals, you can start coming up with your own ideas. And while we can't give you the next billion-dollar campaign idea, we can help you out with some questions to ask yourself and your team to get as close as possible. And here are some gold brainstorming starting points. What are you trying to market? Can you create a play on words to come up with your campaign name / hashtag, or think about fun things to leverage within your niche? What's trending on social right now, and how can you use a TikTok sound or a Reels challenge to your advantage? Who are you trying to reach, and what would they value and respond to? Do you want your partners all to create the same piece of content as a starting point, or do you want to kick off your campaign and let people follow? Will you include an incentive for followers to create user-generated content, or UGC? Will you include or leverage a competition? Will you build your campaign around a sound or start a trend? Who would be your best partners to get the word out? And those are just some examples to really get the creative juices flowing. In that same blog post we've mentioned a few times, there's also a creative brainstorming template to help you with this even more. Step number 4 is to create and plan the launch of your social media campaign. And here are some more questions to ask yourself with this step in the process. How much time and feed real estate do you plan on dedicating to this specific campaign? How much content do you need to create in advance so that you don't run out of momentum before you start to see user-generated content come through? When do you want your partners to post? Is everyone posting on the same date, or will you stagger posts to retain traction? What deadlines do you have for those that are creating content for you? How will you balance evergreen content that your followers love with campaign content? So those are questions you definitely should ask yourself. So now let's move on to actually planning out the campaign. One of the most important factors when it comes to running a successful campaign is being organized. In order to make sure you can actually visualize and remember what content you have at your disposal and when you actually want it live, we strongly recommend using a post scheduler to give you actual visual representation of what your campaign will look like. By doing so, you'll be able to physically see how much content you have left and when it's time to get back onto creating some more to keep momentum going. As an added huge bonus, if you use Flix Scheduler, we actually will even tell you the best time to post on the days that you do want to go live with your campaign content. And you can learn way more about Flix Content Scheduler as well as some hacks to get the most out of it through this video right here. So go ahead and click that after you've watched this. It's in the card above. The next step in planning is actually creating your copy beforehand. Besides the content that you create, the copy you include is a vital part of a successful social media campaign launch. Creating and scheduling in your copy ahead of time allows your team to have a wider visibility on exactly what is being posted. And here's what you should consider when it comes to copy. Include a CTA in your caption. CTA stands for call to action, or in the copy on your content. You should always be driving towards your goals in order to meet your KPIs. Remember, we talked about those earlier. We want to make sure that every step in the process is collectively working towards these key performance indicators. Think about copy limits on different platforms. The different platforms that you're on will have different character limits that you're allowed to include within the caption of your content. And while Instagram in particular allows for 2,200 characters, you should always include your hook in the first line of your caption in order to assert exactly what your campaign is about, regardless of which platform the content is being posted on. Be sure to create an epic launch post for the campaign that allows users to clearly and concisely understand what your campaign is about while also making an impact. And we know that a lot of people really struggle with writing captions and they're missing out on a massive opportunity, which is exactly why we made our captions course, which is hosted here on YouTube. We've linked that playlist in the card above, so go ahead and go through that course. It will go such a long way in terms of improving your ability to write copy for captions that really brings more impact and performance to your content. And trust me, don't sleep on this stuff. It's the little details that make a massive difference, and this is one of those core details. And step number 5 is to measure your performance performance and adapt your strategy accordingly. Most successful social media campaigns are guided by metrics, so yours shouldn't be an exception. You should always be tracking and analyzing the performance of your campaign in order to understand which posts or partners are helping you achieve your KPIs and goals and which ones aren't. You should always be agile and not afraid to adapt your strategy based on the numbers that you're seeing. If you see that something is performing extremely well, you want to do more of that. And alternatively, if you see something performing way below expectations, you don't want to do more of it throughout your campaign. And to spot these opportunities, make sure to do a weekly audit of your campaign and adjust things accordingly. And you can track all these key analytics right within Instagram, or if you're a Flick user, you have access to our very detailed and easy to use analytics suites, and you can monitor these key analytics for Instagram right within the app. Or if you're a Flick user, you can access our analytics dashboard, which is the easiest to use and most comprehensive analytics dashboard to track this core information. We present it in the easiest to view and understand way so that you can see all your numbers at a glance to see what is working and what isn't and adjust your strategy. And analytics is probably the most important part of this entire thing, because without the numbers, you have no idea what's working. So I strongly recommend getting well versed with these numbers and looking for the important things that really move the needle. And if you've yet to check out Flick and our analytics dashboard, I strongly recommend doing so. And if you use the link down below in the description box of this video, you'll get yourself a free week trial to get into Flick, check all this stuff out, and then use it for your upcoming social media campaigns so that you can track everything to make sure it's going exactly as you want. So those are the 5 steps, but now let's cover the most important things to keep in mind when putting together your social media campaign. If you took nothing else away from this video, which I really hope isn't the case, you should at least remember and consider these key points. Tailor your content to your different platforms. Not everything that performs on Reels will be a hit on TikTok. Pay attention to what is trending and see how you can leverage this in the context of your campaign. Plan. Scheduling and organizing content ahead of time is imperative for success. Know your resources and limits. Don't come up with a crazy ambitious idea as your starting point to later then realize you might not have the resources to even pull it off. Leverage user-generated content, or UGC. This is a common thread in the most successful marketing campaigns that are out there. And that's because of the instant connection and credibility that is created because it looks so authentic and relatable. Don't sleep on UGC. It is the biggest thing in marketing campaigns this year. Be clear in your messaging so your audience knows exactly what it is you're asking them to do. When resharing content for your campaign, make sure to ask for permission and get rights, especially if you are leveraging the content on paid social. So if you are working with other creators and influencers, make sure to get the permission to use the content in the ways that you want. And lastly, analyze and adapt. Pay attention to your performance and adapt your strategy in order to see optimum success. And again, for Instagram specifically, we strongly recommend checking out Flick's analytics dashboard. It will help you out a ton and help you make way better decisions. And you are now primed and ready to launch the next great viral social media campaign of this year. And like I mentioned, analytics are the key to helping you do that, and Flick wants to help you do that even better. So which is exactly why I walked through all of our different analytics tools and how you can best use them to make better decisions in this video right here. So go ahead and click that. You will become an analytics whiz and in turn run way better social media campaigns. I'll see you there. Peace.